Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Haslinda binti Abdul Razak. My matric number is 202216. I will present about root exposure, which is how to handle the impact direct management and indirect management. Alright. Firstly, I will explain about direct management. I choose to make visitor management because road exposure is caused by trampling. So, how to handle this situation from better to worse is we also can use a limit of visitors. For example, close some of trails. Next, management also can length of stay limit. For example, when hiking or camping in several areas which is take a long time must be shortened because when shortened time it also can avoid the height of trampling which is can cause of the root exposure. Root exposure is not good for the recreation area and it make difficult for visitors to walk smoothly. Root exposure also can cause surface erosion because of the soil can't absorb the water. This is because organic layer of soil was lost. So, length of stay limits is the best way to handle and avoid the root exposure. Next, dispersal of use also can handle the impact. For example, management should make sure or give a thought to a visitor for avoid the impact of root exposure. When in a several area, like in the area should have 30 people and while the visitor have 50 people and another 20 people should disperse to another place or destination. Next, construction of use. Visitors should not focus on just one area. Next, restriction of type of use. For example, in a several area, the visitor should not make an activities because it can cause impact. But if the area was okay, the activity will carry out in one place only, and some cannot do an activity at all due to impact from the root exposure. Next, group size limit. Management should set a group while doing an activity because this is because to make sure impact of root exposure is under control. Lastly, seasonal limitation of use and use. It have value of carrying capacity which is have two which is fixed and flexible. But inflexible, but for example, fixed. When rainy day, trail limitation is only allow 20 people. But inflexible, which is in hot day, it change from 20 people to 40 people allowed to do an activities in that area. So all of that can handle the impact of root exposure. Exposure for direct management. Alright. Next, I will continue with indirect management. Firstly, illegal action. For example, manager should inform the visitor so that uh, the visitor would not doing illegal action when in a recreation area. If those of visitors who do not comply with the rule, manager also can inform that to the part of law enforcement. Next, careless or thoughtless violation of regulation. Manager must try to alter behavior of visitors. For example, use a persuasion sentence to attract visitors so that the visitor will follow our instruction easily. Next, manager must try alter behavior of visitor like making easier to do right thing and discouraging the wrong thing. Next, unskilled action. For example, manager must educate user in new ways to enforce rule. Next, informed behavior. For example, manager should inform users of alternative areas to dispense use and manager should set entry quotas at key access points and inform users of sensitive areas. This can avoid road exposure when doing activities in recreation area. Lastly, avoidable minimal impact. For example, managers should encourage minimal impact practice and move use to less sensitive areas so that the impact when doing activity it will be reduced. That's all from me. Thank you.